some people, this will be their first episode, but for us, this is our fifth episode. I guess so. Welcome to the Bamboo Project podcast. You can find us on multiple podcast platforms now. We're on Google, what is it? Google Apple Store, Google Play Store,
uh, Google Podcasts.
Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and Spotify. Everything under the Bamboo Project podcast. So we're gonna start today's podcast off with, guess, an update of my last week. I kind of been thinking about this for a while. I've been thinking about what I wanted to say, how I wanted to say it, because I'm been getting really annoyed with people, and it's not really much I can say. I don't know how it just went from like it was sunny and now it's literally a storm outside. Like this is actually crazy.
It'll go away in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about this really a thunderstorm. Like this is crazy. Um, so
Or like 2 hours.
bruh, it's really like it's crazy outside. Okay, either way. So my dad passed away yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yesterday, I got the phone call at 2 o'clock in the morning about him passing away from my aunt, from the coronavirus, and um, people have been people who know obviously have been texting me saying I'm sorry to hear that. You know, if there's anything I could do, let me know. And it's kind of annoying me because they can't nobody can do anything about it. Nobody can really help. There's nothing that I would want from them, and it's kind of just like a generic response that people give when something like this happens. And it's not genuine, but I don't think they have anything else to say other than that. So that's kind of what they just go off of. But it's like I think I don't even know if I should ask people to do something else or say anything else because that's kind of just what people say. Um, and yeah, one thing I'm noticing right now as I'm speaking is that this is why I prefer to have these conversations on the podcast first because I feel like I've said this like 3 times already, and I kind of have to repeat myself again. And this is one reason why I like to save this for the podcast because then I'm not really trying to go and repeat what I've said before, and that's what makes this kind of annoying when I have to keep talking about these things before I come on here and actually say it. But people who are listening to the podcast obviously don't know that people are doing that, so I have to say it again. I do not like people to say to me, "I am sorry to hear that. Is there anything I can do for you?" Because for you to say you're sorry means that you had some fault in what happened, but the person saying that didn't have any fault in what happened. So it's kind of a thing that they say for themselves to make themselves feel better. So I can say, "Hey, it's not your fault," or "No, don't worry. I appreciate you for coming to tell me that you're sorry about it." And like I said, it's frustrating because I'm coping with it the way that I cope with it, but people keep bringing it up, and I think to me, it's not as bad as people probably think it is because um, I my relationship with my dad, I wouldn't even say it was tedious or anything like that. I used to always say like when you want to grow up, you have to kill your parents in your head, right? And I had already done that. So to me, in my head, mentally, my mom and my dad are not alive. And what that does is it allows me to actually enjoy the moments more when I'm with them. So now when I'm with them, it's almost like they came back from being dead. So I can actually talk to them and actually embrace them more, as opposed to just seeing them as like, oh, you're my parent, you're always here, whenever I can call you, I can just come see you, I can just call you on the phone. So I'm able to cherish the moments more with him and with my mom. So over the last maybe 2 years or so, or 3 years, when I see him, it's I cherish those moments when I was with him. We went to a wedding for one of his close friends. His daughters were getting married, who I knew when I grew up. and we were supposed to go to Italy, my dad and I and Melissa, for Christmas this year. So in my mind, I was kind of like, I'm looking forward to those things, but because it's almost like a bonus, it's kind of like, if my baseline is my dad is not alive, then anything above that is a bonus to me. It's kind of good to hear. So if I get a call from him, like imagine if somebody you knew passed away and they were able to call you. It's kind of like that. So I'm able to actually be present in the moments when I'm talking to him. I'm able to be present when I'm there with him. I'm able to kind of be there with him when those things were happening. Um, and I was wondering when I got the call, because I didn't cry when I got the call. I haven't cried since. The only time I kind of really felt like I was going to cry was yesterday when my sister called me. And that was because I was explaining this to her as well yesterday, where I'm like, I don't feel bad about it because I don't have any regrets about our relationship. When I was starting the company before, it was called Quickies. It was supposed to be a food delivery, grocery delivery company. This was back in 2014, I think it was. I had asked my dad to borrow some money so I could start the company, and he kept telling me no. And I was upset because I didn't understand. I'm like, you're my dad. Why would you not want to see me prosper? Why would you not want to see me grow? Why would you not? And it's not, I'm not asking to keep the money. I'm asking for a loan to start a business. And he kept telling me no. So, and I couldn't understand that. And I'm like, okay, why? Like, what is going on with that? So after like maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and he kept putting stipulations in, like, okay, once you get a contract, I'll give you the money. Once you get a second contract, I'll give you the money. And I'll keep doing those. First it was a business plan, I did that. Then it was get a contract, I did that. Get another contract, I did that. And he still wasn't actually giving me or loaning me the money. So I could understand what was happening. So I had to actually talk to him. I'm like, I don't understand what is going on. Why would you not loan me the money? So this happened. This was at night. This was years ago. And we sat down and we actually had a conversation about it. And I was like, do you not like me as a child? There's something that I did that makes you upset. Why, like, do you resent me? Are you envious of me? Is something about me being alive make you upset that you wouldn't want to help me? So we had this conversation, and I don't think a lot of people actually have these conversations with their parents, where they see their parent as a person. Everybody sees their parent as a parent, and I think that puts a lot of pressure on parents to try and uphold some type of persona that's not real, because they're people first and then their parents second. So they have to then try and hide their emotions from you because they want you to be they want you to be safe. They want you to be they want you to kind of be like safe. And I think a lot of people don't really think about that when it comes to them. So yeah, I feel like I'm about to tear up. So I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, so a lot of people don't think about that. So when we had this conversation, it was kind of like we were able to talk about his life growing up, what he experienced growing up, the things that he had to go through, what it was like raising me, and all those kind of things. And I was able to actually get off my chest at that point, a lot of things that I didn't like that he did. I was able to get off my chest, like, yeah, like I said, I figured I might cry on the podcast. I'm not surprised. But yeah, like I said, I don't have any regrets about it. It's kind of just like something that, it's just kind of something that I guess happens. But like I said, I kind of cope with it in my own way. And I don't think that anybody else can help me would help me feel better about it. So that's why it frustrates me more, because I don't think people take that into account. I think when people say things like that, it comes from a selfish place. It comes from, how can I help you feel better in a situation, as opposed to saying, like, just talking to a person, like just saying, hey, I noticed that, something happened to you. Do you want to talk about it? If the person says no, then leave it alone. If the person says yes, then you go, okay, I'm here for you to talk to. But don't try and force how you feel about something on somebody else, because you want to be the person that makes them feel better. or it's customary to say that, or you feel like maybe they might resent you for not asking them, or saying I'm sorry, my condolences, or whatever the case might be. So so yeah, and so like I said, that's what's been kind of annoying me about this whole thing. And like I said, I don't really have any regrets about it, because when it did happen, when I was going through it, I was doing the stuff that I could to make sure that it didn't happen. So yeah, it's kind of hard talking about it, but I figured the podcast is part of like therapy for me, so I feel like actually talking about it helps. So what was I saying? Okay, so yeah, like I said, I didn't have any regrets about it, because during the time I was trying. Yeah, just gotta get my self under control. So just kind of, like I said, I haven't really processed it until I guess now, because I haven't really talked about it. Because one reason I haven't talked about it is because I don't want the sympathy from people. Because I'm like, that would make it worse in my opinion. Because I'm like, you're not, you can't help me to process what I'm going through. So I would rather the person more so be as like, just understand that something has happened, and just kind of take it from that perspective, instead of trying to encroach on me to make me feel better because of you. And I don't really like that. But like I said, what I was saying was, when he was alive, I was doing what I could to make sure that he didn't die. So I don't have any regrets about that. I went to the hospital to give him what I thought could help him. I don't think they gave it to him. And like I said, I was on the phone every day to talk to the doctors with my aunt, to kind of just just kind of seeing how I could help. So I guess I did everything that I could, and there isn't anything else I could do. So I don't have any. I don't feel bad about it. It's kind of just like, some things you have to kind of be at peace with. So I'm at peace with it, because at first, the reason I cried in the beginning, or when it first happened, was because I didn't know what state he was in. I thought he was in the hospital with a tube inside of him, and I thought that it was kind of like torture, where he's sitting there, kind of like just by himself with nobody there for him. But he wasn't like that. He was sedated, so he was kind of asleep. So when I found that out, I felt a lot better after that, because I after that after. So after the conversation that we had, it's kind of funny, because I thought maybe I would be able to. I'm wondering if I could like mentally make myself not, I guess, emotional about it. Um, but I don't think it's working very well. But um, okay. So after the last conversation that we had, I realized that he's human, and not the last conversation, the conversation that we had when during the whole loan thing. So I'm like, I know that he's not the strong person that everybody probably thinks that he is, or was, because I was able to see him, for me anyway, differently as a kid you would see differently than you would see your parent. So that's kind of
I think you should just let it
I don't know. I don't because I don't. That doesn't feel natural. I don't. That's not me. So I'm just gonna talk and see what happens. But but let's see. So yes, I was more so thinking about it from that perspective. I was kind of like I didn't want him to be experiencing that. But when I found out he wasn't going through that, I felt better about it. So I said at that point, what can I do to help? And that's what I tried to do. And going through it, it's like, well, a couple of things. When he first went into the hospital, as I was going to Brooklyn to get this stuff for him, I was on the phone with him as he was in the hospital at that point, and I asked him, I was like, I said, excuse me, I was like, do you want to try and fight this in the hospital, or do you want to fight this at home? And he said he wanted to fight in the hospital, and that's what he wanted to do. So I'm like, okay, if that's what you want to do, then it doesn't make sense for me to try and do what I can to get you to fight it anywhere else. If that's your choice, then I'm gonna help you to get you what that's what you want to do. Then fine, then we can try the best things to do in the hospital. My problem, and this is why this is probably the thing I'm most upset about through all of this, is because it didn't have to happen like this. But I also understand that people's lives are the accumulation of their decisions, and he made multiple decisions that put him in the position that he was in, and that's not something that I have control over. That's not something I can do. That's just something that happens, and I can tell him certain things, but those things, if he doesn't listen or do those things, it won't help him. So he, you know, so this is what ended up happening. His girlfriend tricked him into going to the hospital because he didn't want to go to the hospital. He wanted to go to urgent care, just to get an X-ray to see what they would say about him. But she told him we're going to the hospital, and then she ended up driving him to. No, she told me we're going to urgent care. She ended up driving him to the hospital, and like I said, what I heard was that he said to her, "If I don't make it out of here, like I'm never. If I make it out of here, I'm never gonna forgive you for this." And in my head, I feel like he could have done, if I don't know what state he was in, but I feel like he could have done something to not end up in the hospital. So I feel like at some point he had to say, okay, I'm gonna go in the hospital, I'm gonna do this or whatever, and he made that choice to do that. So I can't, like, that's just a decision that he made, and this is the repercussion of the decision that he made. I don't I I don't think that there's nothing I can really do about that. But I'm still upset because I think that she tricked him into going to the hospital in the first place to put him in a position where he had to make that decision. And then I'm also upset with my aunt because she was very emotional about this, and I feel like she didn't handle it very well. I feel like she um, she overreacted and had him put on a ventilator. And I think that everybody's decisions about this, everybody was overreacting, everybody was being emotional, and that's why he ended up in the hospital in the first place. And then once he got to the hospital, then my aunt was being, I don't even know what word I would call it, but I don't know what the proper terminology is, but she didn't want to take anybody's advice that I guess she didn't feel was right, or didn't go with what she thought. And it, in my opinion, that's that's fine if you're gonna have the conversation with somebody and then go, okay, this is why I don't believe that, as opposed to appealing to authority and saying, well, they said this is not true, so I'm going with that. That was my biggest problem with the whole thing. So yeah, and like I said, I feel like there were a lot of things. This was not one mistake to get to this point, and I don't ever think that death results in one mistake. I think it's a bunch of mistakes that snowball into something like this. I feel like his girlfriend in the house coming, because this is, I'm gonna give you a timeline of what happened. His girlfriend was supposed to drop off groceries at her children's house, and he had told her, when you go over there, do not get out the car, just drop off the groceries from the trunk and then leave. She decided that she wanted to go upstairs with her children. Right now, people can make whatever decisions that they want to make, but this is what I'm saying, that every decision has repercussions to it. So she decided she was going to go upstairs to hang out with her children. Okay. This is what he told me in our last phone call. He calls her again, and she decides that she was hanging out with her sister and her sister and her sister's husband. Now, they knew, my dad and Miss Connie knew that, oh, well, whatever. They knew that her sisters, or her sister and her husband, were sick. They didn't know it was the coronavirus, but they knew that they had flu-like symptoms. She decided to go grocery shopping with them anyways, right? So she ended up getting the coronavirus. So my dad said, I'm not letting you back in the house for a certain amount of time, right? I was on the phone with him. He ended up letting her back in the house. Now, I don't know why he did that, but at the end of the day, he's a human being, and I feel like it would be very hard to be with your girlfriend of 10 plus years and tell her to stay outside or go home or something like that. Especially if there's no definitive answer as to whether or not she has the coronavirus. So I feel like because of that, he let her back in the house, because he does love her. So I would assume that's probably what happened. And then he told me that she kept getting into bed and wanted to lay with him and cuddle up with him, even after she wasn't feeling well. So then he ended up getting the coronavirus. And like I said, it's not just one decision that led to this. So then she has the coronavirus. She gives it to him. He tells her not to come back in the bed and not lay in the bed. And she decides she doesn't care about that. She wants to keep laying in the bed with him and cuddling with him because that's what she wants to do. Now, he could have kicked her out the house at this point. He didn't. She could have decided, I'm not going to do this, but she didn't. So like I said, multiple decisions. And then from there, he started feeling sick. So he started feeling sick, and now she overreacted. So he had a fever. He wasn't, he was sleeping for a couple of days. He didn't want to go up other than to go to the bathroom and things like that. But she felt like he had a fever, so she decided she wanted to go to the hospital or take him to the doctor. She told me that multiple doctors had told her to give him, or a doctor told her to give him sugar because he didn't want to drink anything. When I talked to him on the phone, he said that he decided that he didn't want to drink any soda, he didn't want to drink any apple juice or orange juice. But because she overreacted, she felt like he was dying because of that. Because he didn't want orange juice, he didn't want apple juice, he was dying. When she called me, she was overreacting. I couldn't talk to her, she was being hysterical. There's nothing I could say to her to solve any of this. So like I said, these are multiple choices that lead to this final outcome that they have. And then, like I said, it led to him being treated to go to the hospital. Then my aunt comes into play, and she's convincing him to get on a ventilator because she believes that the coronavirus messes with your cognitive ability to think. So she felt like he doesn't know what he's talking about. He should be on a ventilator. Even though when I talked to him, my cousin talked to him, my sister talked to him, we all came to the conclusion like he was very coherent in our conversations. He wasn't delirious. There wasn't anything wrong with him. Other than the last day, he had a little bit of labored breathing. That was it. Other than that, every day we talked to him, he was fine. On the last phone call that I had with him, I asked him, do you feel any different today than you felt on Monday before you got in the hospital? This was Thursday or Friday when I talked to him. He said, no, I feel exactly the same way I did on Monday. I don't feel any different. So that just told me that if you don't feel any different, then it's probably the same symptoms. It's the flu. You have to figure out how to fight the flu. You don't take somebody who has the flu and put them on a ventilator. You don't take them and put them on multiple drugs. You don't test experimental drugs on them. You let their body fight the flu. And I think that, like I said in the last podcast, that I think a lot of the doctors are the reason that people are dying. It's not necessarily the flu or the coronavirus. It's how people are treating the coronavirus. I think that's a way that people are dying. So yeah. So that's the update on that. I got that call at 2 in the morning, and since then I've had multiple people call me and text me, and say, I'm sorry to hear that, or and I'm sorry for you and stuff like that. And I haven't really responded to anybody because it's just like I don't. Anything I say to that is for them to feel better. It's not for me to feel better. I can't. If you say I'm sorry, and I say it's okay, I'm trying to solve a problem for you. You feel bad, and I'm telling you that it's okay. Nothing happened to you. You didn't do anything. Why am I telling you that it's okay? And then it comes down to, what do I need? To people, oh, if you need anything, I got you. And it's like, either one, we don't talk that often. So if I did need something, why would I come to you for it? And two, what do you have to offer me that if I did need, I can get from you? What is it? What possible thing can somebody offer me other than saying, yeah, man, that's crazy. That's really wow. God has his way of dealing with, like, that. They can't do anything that would actually have an effect for me. And if anything, I'm gonna get annoyed by talking to the people that are doing that. So that's kind of where I am on that. And I don't really know, this happened yesterday, so I don't really know what's gonna happen going forward. I've heard that they don't allow more than 10 people to have funerals for people. It's kind of just like, I guess less than 10 people. So I don't know how they're gonna do that. I don't know if they're gonna do a cremation. I don't know how this goes going forward. But yeah, something I was saying earlier was that one reason I cried on the phone with my sister earlier, well, not cried, I felt myself, like I felt the emotion of being about to cry, when I was telling her that it's not the same for me as it is for everybody else, because like I said, in my mind he was already dead to me. So whenever I saw him, I would record our conversations. I would have videos of us laughing and videos of us doing certain things, because just for multiple reasons. But I know that I can look back on them and see them. And like I said, that's because I cherish those moments differently. So, like I said, I have all types of recordings and stuff. So that when I thought about it, that's kind of what made me start to tear up yesterday talking to my sister. So I just think people should take that into account with their family, because another thing is, when it comes to being independent, I think people affected by this differently, or would be affected by it differently, because they rely on their parents so much. And I try to make myself as independent as possible for two reasons, for sure. Is I don't want to depend on anybody, and two, I don't want anybody to feel like I have to depend on them, because that's a pressure that I know of, and that's a pressure that I wouldn't want to put on somebody else, because it's everybody should have to carry their own weight. And I feel like, okay, if I can move out of my parents' house, I can move out of my dad's house, I can move out of wherever, then we can have a relationship where they don't feel like I'm taking care of you. They aren't paying my phone bill. They aren't paying for food for me to eat. They aren't paying for me to go anywhere. They aren't doing any of those things. They're able to be a human being. They're able to be themselves. They're not in parent mode. They're just in adult mode or in person mode. So, like I said, I tried to make sure that there was no reliability that I didn't need anything from my dad. I don't need anything from my mom. So I think that allows me to kind of cope with it a little bit better than I think people think I should. So yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else in regards to that. No, I think that's it. I don't really, I haven't really, nothing else I could think about when it comes to that. Yeah, I actually have to pee, so I'm gonna go pee. You could pause that. So I had to go to the bathroom, obviously. So I got a text. I don't even know who this is. They spelled my name wrong, right? It says, "Hi Donovan, how are you? My condolences to you. Your sister informed me about your dad. Blessings to you and sister and the rest of your family." Like, if you don't know how to spell my name, I don't even think you should be even telling me, or it's nothing like that. That shows to me a level of, I don't even know how to call it, ignorance. I don't even know what to call that, but that annoys me. You can't even spell my name correctly, but you feel like you should be consoling me on a situation like this. So like I said, I've been getting stuff. I don't even know who this is. I have no idea who this is. I'm not gonna ask who it is. I don't care to know who it is. I know they text me and they said this. So yeah. Okay. So normally on the podcast it was gonna be myself and Hunter to do the podcast because as I've said before, I I want the podcast to be just my everyday life, what I go through, how I go from being regular and to being a billionaire. That's the plan of the podcast. I want people to be able to see it so they can't say that, there was some crazy thing that happened that it's only for special people that could do it. And I can't do that. I don't have any of that. So that's why I felt like, okay, fine. When I have the podcast, I'll show you how it's done first and then you can follow. Because I grew up and I learned that I would always have ideas for people and they would be like, well, how do you know? You didn't do it. You don't know. And I'm like, all right, fine. I heard that enough times. Fine. I'll do it myself first because my mindset was always I want to help people get to that point. But I'm like, okay, I thought the journey to it with the person would be what I want, but other people I realized that people want to see you do it first, and then they'll be like, okay, now it's safe, I'll go do it. Fine. So that was supposed to be the purpose, one of the purposes of the podcast. So last podcast, I talked about how I was annoyed because Hunter did not come to the podcast, and when I asked him about the podcast the day before, he told me late that he wasn't coming. That he come on Wednesday instead of Tuesday, and I was annoyed by that. So we had a phone call about it after the podcast, a couple of days later, and then we went on last Sunday, to the park and sat down and talked about it. Right, so. So the conclusion is that Hunter will no longer be a host on the podcast, and so the reasons that he does not feel that his questions were, what were the podcasts, what's the purpose of the podcast, and what is it supposed to be. He feels that the businesses that he is in do not allow him to be on a podcast in with the structure that I have of the podcast, which is coming on and having a regular conversation. He feels like it would be detrimental to his business to talk about his regular life on the podcast. Now, me, I don't understand that because I don't feel like you should be in business with somebody that you can't talk about on publicly. And I do not mean to speak about somebody's personal business, saying names, location, money amounts, or anything like that. I feel like you can have a podcast and still leave out certain things. I can say my friend, I can say a business, I can say this person or that person. So he said that he said that when we talk about these things off the camera, he can be natural because it's just us talking. He said that he doesn't feel he can be natural with the camera on because he feels like he's trying to censor things on the podcast. So he doesn't feel like he can be on the podcast for that. Because he doesn't feel like he would do well on the podcast because of that. So we're talking about it, and I decided like, okay, it would just be better if he's not on a podcast. For one reason is, like I said, if I'm doing the podcast, I want it to be as natural as possible. I don't want any lies. I want it to be truthful. I don't want it to be, unnatural or anything of that sort. Right. So I decided it wasn't going to be a good idea if he keeps coming on the podcast. And then I'm trying to think what else. This happened on Sunday. I wish I took some notes or something, but I didn't. So one thing with Hunter that I feel like, and I told him this on the podcast, on our conversation, is that I feel like he's building a life that he, that once the bigger it gets, the harder it'll be to leave, and the more unhappy it'll make him, because he's building a life for other people as opposed to for himself. And I feel like people should start with themselves first. And if you can't talk about your life because somebody else will be upset, then I feel like that's not a business that you should be in. And I guess I just think that, yeah, I really don't think people. It's a different level of freedom that people have when you can say whatever you want to say, whenever you want to say it to whoever you want to say it to, and the restrictions that you have are placed. You don't say things out of fear of losing something. You say things out of maybe respect for somebody else. You say things out of maybe, hey, I don't want to. When I was talking, I was thinking about how when I guess Kanye West and 50 Cent had, I think an album was dropping, and they wanted to drop it. One of them was drop on the same day as the other to compete with him. For my opinion, I'm like, all right, I understand. You don't want to leak something like that because it has to do with the business plan and rollout that you have. So you're not gonna actually want to put that out there. I get that, but I don't think that a person should not be able to have a regular, natural conversation on camera. I feel like if a person can't talk naturally on camera, it's because they're hiding something. They're not being genuine. That's what I feel like when it comes to speaking publicly or speaking on camera or speaking with somebody else. So it was like a 2 hour long conversation. But I think that's probably the most important thing from that conversation. We started quickies together, and he felt like, okay, maybe the problem with our relationship is that we always have a business there, and somehow in the business here's the thing. Okay. Anybody that can't hear me on a podcast is quiet. I'm drinking water. Clear my lips for the video.
A little bit on the top.
Got a little of that white stuff on my mouth. I'm trying to get that off for the visual audience. My producer told me I got some white stuff on my mouth. So I had to drink some water and wipe my mouth. All right. So this is what I learned about myself, right? I think everybody should do a self-audit. My self-audit for me, I do one all the time, regularly, and it's pretty much self-reflecting, right? Just you sit down and you go over your life experiences, you go over your day-to-day, you go over your relationships, and you see what's a common trend. Why do people say this about me? Is that true? If it is true, why does it make me upset? Why do people lie about me? Why do I keep having the same kinds of friends? Why do I keep having boyfriends or girlfriends that act like this with me? Right? So here's the thing. My toxic trait is recording. Sure, I'll get this in because I think this is very important for people to know. My toxic trait is a very, very interesting toxic trait. Okay? So what that means is, or what I mean by that is, I want to help people. That's my toxic trait, right? Now, people might not understand why that's bad. Okay? So, the reason why it's bad is because I want to help people, and I put people in positions to do things that they, one, didn't ask for, or two, can't handle. And they feel bad when they are unable to do it, or when they agreed to it and they didn't want to do it in the first place. And then the problem with that is, because it would be okay to have that trait. The problem with that is I'll get upset when they don't reach the standards that I thought that they should be at. And then it causes a problem in a relationship. So with Hunter in this particular situation, when we started Quickies and the podcast, it's mostly my idea. But I'm like, okay, this is my friend. I'm like, this would be a fun journey to have. I'm like, he wants to be rich, I want to be rich. How can we do this together? How can we build something as a friend together and have this for our kids or our family, whatever else the case might be? That's kind of what I was thinking, right? But if I come to somebody and say, hey, you want to be a millionaire? The majority of people are going to say yes. It's very unlikely that somebody will say, no, I'm okay. Like, I'd rather just be regular, right? And with this situation, when I come to people and I'm like, hey, I can help you do certain things, then they want to do it. They want the end goal of what I'm pitching, but they don't want to put the work in to get to that end goal. And then when we start the project and I feel like I'm carrying all the weight, then I start to get upset. And then it becomes a situation because I started off by pretty much saying I'll do all the work. That's usually how it starts. So I'm like, I'll do everything. I'll cover that. But then when the other person doesn't actually do what I think they should be doing, I get upset. So with the podcast, I had told Hunter, all I want you to do is show up. You don't do anything else but show up. That's it. And if it's my podcast, I should be in control of everything else around him showing up. If it's all he gotta do is show up, then his job is just show up. But if it comes to not knowing when to show up, how long to show up for it, all that stuff is on me. So if I don't communicate that to him, then that's my fault because I'm the one that's in charge of the podcast. I'm the one that has the vision for it. Then it's like, okay, it's my fault that something is going wrong. And like I said, my toxic trait kind of enables people. It enables people, and I believe that it puts them in a dynamic with me where they feel like they're below me, right? And I feel like this happens a lot when I was talking to girls. I feel like a lot of time, because I want to help so much, when I try to help, I will overhelp. And when you overhelp somebody, you don't allow them to actually try and fix the problem by themselves. So let's say, for example, I use Melissa, for example, right? Let's say she's on her laptop trying to figure out how to edit a video, right? Naturally, if I hear her go, oh man, I don't know what's going on, I will go in and want to help. Oh, I know how to do that. I can do that. Let me help you out. Click, 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 and I'll just do something, right? And then it'll work. Now, the problem with that is, one, she didn't ask for my help, and two, she didn't learn how to do it herself. So what that does is it puts her in a situation where she does it. One, she probably feels annoyed that I took the ability from her to learn it herself away, and two, she's gonna look to me for these problems. Like, okay, Donovan knows how to fix this. Donovan could probably help out with this. I can just ask him. And then what happens is I'll get annoyed because then I'll be like, why don't you do this yourself? Why are you always asking me for help? But it's like I started this trend of helping without being asked to help. And I think that plays a large role in my life of trying to help people that don't necessarily ask for help. And I feel like a very important thing to learn is to only offer help when asked, because when I do it without people asking me, that's what starts the trend of people, I guess, being connected to me in a toxic manner. So that's kind of how the conversation went with Hunter. We talked about that. But yeah, for the most part, like I said, that's kind of how it is. Also, this is for business owners and people who are starting a business. This is why you have to be able to handle the business by yourself. I said this. I think I said this 2 podcasts ago. Maybe I said on the last podcast, right? Because you have to have leverage in your own businesses. Because if I felt like I can't do a podcast without Hunter, there would be no podcast. Or 2, I would have to compromise what I want because Hunter said that he doesn't want to be on the podcast. But because I know, okay, I can come on a podcast and talk by myself. I have the space to do it. I have equipment to do it. I don't need somebody else to do the podcast. And I think a lot of people put themselves in situations where they are dependent on somebody else to run something that they want to do, because they don't want to either learn how to do it themselves or they don't actually have the skill to do it themselves. So they're leaning on the other person's ability to help, whatever that case might be, whether it be doing a podcast, whether it be maybe a person's a singer and they like, oh, I want to be learn how to sing, but I don't have equipment. It's like, okay, now you're going to be beholden to the people that have the studio, people that have the space to do the singing. So I think that that's like a business tip for people going forward, even in relationships at all. because I feel like girls kind of fall into this role a lot more of being in a situation where they have to be dependent on the guy and they are unable to kind of get away from that. So remember, always. So I figure out what's the best way to word this. Be self-sufficient, and as much as you can. The goal in life is to be self-sufficient, so that you have to only rely on yourself. You don't have to rely on anybody else. And then when you come to the table, it's a partnership. It's not like I don't know what's another word for a partnership. That's like a dynamic of a partnership that's not equal. I thought about that. I'm like, that sounds too easy. But yeah, an unequal partnership. Yeah, so that's that. Let's see. What's I have on the agenda today? Oh, yes. So, I'm gonna go with, cause I have a couple things on this list today. I'm trying to think which one to go with first. I'm gonna go with the 365-day challenge. Okay, so we're gonna go with that, right? So this goes into what I said about, I believe partly my toxic trait, possibly. So Melissa was going to the gym every day for a year. That was the plan, to go to the gym every day, work out for a year, 365 days. My Aunt Kathy is calling me. I'm not answering the phone. Wait, should I answer the phone? I'm not gonna answer. If it's important, I think she'll text me. I don't think it's important. I really don't want to be in that state again. So 365 days. That was the plan, to go to the gym every day. The reason that I came up with the idea, because I was like, look, I know that if you do something every day, you'll learn something from it. It builds character. It teaches you. It'll teach you about yourself. It'll teach you how to attack certain things. It'll teach you that something always comes up, and it kind of teaches somebody how to overcome obstacles. Because I know that there are always going to be things that come up. There's always going to be situations. If you have a goal in mind, if you want to go anywhere or do anything, things are going to come up all the time. That's just kind of how it goes. Yeah. So she actually the other day didn't work out. So she made up to 100 and I want to say 160 possibly. Let's see, what day did you make it to? Maybe like 160. You know, it'd be funny if it was literally half. Like that would be very interesting. Let me see.
366 because it's a leap year.
Yeah.
All 365 days, but it's like 183.
What's today?
Today is April 21st.
21st. So it would have been 100 and about 160 days. So that'd been 320 days if you had, if it was half or double, whatever. And I feel like she thought that I was gonna be mad at her. Bird off root tea. Now, why did you feel like I was gonna be mad at you? Do you want to talk over here about it?
Sure.
Just for the listeners, there will be another guest appearance by the producer for another topic later. Very interesting topic.
Oh, sheesh. Oh, okay, I see that one. So, with,
Let me go over here real quick.
I get the chair. Okay. Why did I think you were going to be upset at me? Well, first of all, starting the challenge was a very serious thing. No. I don't think. Was that the same time? Was that the same time that you, like, turn on all the blinds, open up all the blinds, and woke me up and all of that? It was then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So starting the challenge was a serious thing, in the sense that, like Donivan said earlier, he's into his natural inclination is to help fix people. Like that's just what he does naturally. And then being in such close proximity to me, and I was I wilding at that point?
Wilding how?
I think at that point I started, because I have a list. So there was a list of things that I would do every day. And I think at that point I wasn't doing the things on the list every day consistently. And I was slipping. And then when I say I was slipping, that means that like I was not learning Spanish every day like I wanted to. I wasn't reading. I wasn't editing videos consistently. I probably wasn't cooking consistently, like making him lunch and stuff like that. As you heard in the last podcast that he broke up with me for.
One of many reasons. Multiple decisions.
So, yeah, and that's how this whole 365 day thing started. He woke up one morning and said, okay, same way that he was speaking about earlier, that he kind of like killed his parents in his head. He was gonna kill, Melissa. That whole bad habit thing to Melissa. So he woke up that morning and said, we're gonna kill the old Melissa. Like that was his agenda, that was his plan. He opened up all the blinds at like 7:00 in the morning, and we went down to the gym, and he did that every day. He told me I'm doing it for a year, and like he threw water on me one day.
Yes, I did.
Just throwing that out there, just so y'all know. But as I started to do it every day, well, that's kind of one reason why. I know that once I start to slip, or once I start to not kind of keep up with the routines that I've set for myself, he doesn't really like that, especially if it keeps happening consistently. So I think that's something that makes me anxious, because I don't want to slip, because me slipping within myself doesn't only affect me, because it affects us and how we interact as well. So yeah, to answer your original question.
Which was what?
Which was, why did I think you'd be upset?
Okay. Your laptop shut off. I'm just gonna...
That's fine.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, with one thing that you're probably still hearing, right? Yeah. One thing that I didn't want to tell Melissa in the beginning is that it's okay to fail at something. Like it's okay to not achieve a goal, but it's not okay to not try. But the problem with that is it's kind of a slippery slope, and you kind of have to know yourself. Because, for example, Melissa's been reading a book lately about investing, right? And the book is
going to be the death of me.
Right. The book has caused her to spiral downward very, very quickly. Because the book is very boring. It's probably very stressful to read. If you ever read a book that you don't want to read, your eyes can barely stay open. You're just struggling to get through it. If you feel like the page is actually 2 feet long and you don't know how it's taking so long to read it, you're looking over every word 3 times, right? So in that situation, I would advise her not to read the book anymore, because the book is actually doing more harm than it is good, right? But you have, as a person, that's a skill set that you have to acquire yourself, by being able to tell, am I lying to myself by quitting this, or is this actually not good for me? Because some people may try and struggle reading the book, finish the book, and have no idea what they learned in the book. They just say they finished the book. You don't want to read a book with the mindset of, I just want to get through the book, I want to read it. You want to read it and be able to internalize something in the book. I don't know if I can sit over here, because I can't. I don't know if I'm on the camera right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You see it too? You can see. So you want to be able to, when you read the book, you want to be able to internalize the book. You don't want to read a book just to read a book and say, hey, I read 6 books this month. It's not productive. It doesn't do anything. You're wasting your time doing it. You're wasting your time reading it. And I feel like the book she has now, that's been happening. She just been reading the book just to say she read the book and she bought the book and she should read it. So finishing the book in this particular situation doesn't actually help her. It hurts her more because she could be using that time to read a book that could actually benefit her. And she could also be, because she's not actively investing in that way, what the book is telling her to do, I don't feel like the book is actually helping her. She has money invested in stocks. You have 401k still? How does that work?
I have a 401k with Amazon right now. I have an IRA, and I have an IRA, a Roth IRA, and then I have a personal investment account.
Right. So basically, the book is telling her like to go to the bank and make sure your index fund is not your business manager, your whoever it is, the manager is not taking more than 2% because 2% over 5 years is this amount of money. And if you let them take that, you should go to a different bank because then they'll have a less percentage. And it's like, if she was actively right now looking to invest conservatively like that, it would make sense to read that book. But in my opinion, I feel like you should read a book for two reasons. I guess one could be entertainment, but the second reason is it's applying to your life and what you're doing right now or what you're trying to actually do. So a lot of people, let's say you have a fear of something, you should be reading books on how to overcome fear. If you have a problem with procrastination, read books on procrastination and then apply what you learn from the book to, let's say, your schoolwork or trying to, it's applied knowledge. Once you learn, okay, let's say the book says, whenever you feel like your toes tingle, you're going to procrastinate. So stand up and walk around, right? So when you're doing your homework and you feel that, apply that and see if it works. If it doesn't work, try a different book. But you read to find out what can help you. You don't read to find out what can't. If you're a, I don't know, let's say you're a video editor, right? And you're reading books on how people wash windows and how to make sure a window is washed the right way and how glass works. That might help you with that too. How window washers have a problem in America because nobody cares about them, right? That doesn't, if you don't have an interest in that, then reading that is not going to help you to become better. It's going to bore you and it's going to be hard to read that book. Now that's a very large reach for what I'm talking about, but you kind of get the idea. I feel like once a person gets to a high level of mastery in their craft, they're able to actually identify your craft in other crafts. And I think that when somebody is reading, they can also do that. An example of that would be, you might hear somebody say, the squeaky wheel gets the oil, right? And you might also hear somebody say, a closed mouth doesn't get fed, right? Those two genres are not the same. One could be about mechanics, one could be about raising children or being a parent, right? But it's the same concept, is that the person that's making the noise is the one that gets the thing that they want. So if you get to a high level of mastery in a certain skill or a certain aspect, then you're able to read a book and identify in that book how it relates to something you're specifically doing. And I think that that's something that people could do when they read. But I feel like when you're starting off reading, I think the best thing to do is just read books that apply to what you're doing now. And if you have free time to read a book for that reason. How do you, I feel like you disagree with that?
No, I don't disagree with it. I think another part of it too that's really important is like being present while you're reading. And when I say that, I mean typically it takes me a couple of days to finish a book, especially if I really enjoy it. It'll take me 3 to 4 days to read maybe like a 250-page book. This book is 238 pages, and I've been reading it for probably 2 fucking weeks now. Like, I've been reading it for 2 weeks now, 45 minutes a day, and it's because my brain literally cannot. I'm pretty sure I space out. I'm pretty sure, because it's timed. I use Apple. They're not sponsoring this yet, but, hopefully in the future. But I use the Apple Book app to read, and it has this thing that I like. It's a streak. So I'm trying to read every day for 45 minutes, and just having the page open gets the timer going. So I'm pretty sure I done blanked out staring at the damn thing, and it will say, check, you're done for the day. I'm done, say less. and that's it. And the thing is, so what I'm saying about being present is that I should have picked up on the fact that this is taking longer for me to read this book. It's not picking up my interest. I shouldn't have made it all the way to, I think I'm like 150 pages in. I shouldn't have made it to page 150, like dragging myself along like this. And I could have read like 3 more books already. And like enjoyed it. The last books that I read, we have a Patreon page that we're working on. So the books that I've been reading before, I read a book on boundaries. I read a book on taking the big leap and stuff like that. And like Donivan said, I was able to apply that to my day to day. So they made me feel more comfortable and more engaged in reading it. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Let me see. I was thinking about saying with the books.
I thought it was funny.
What?
The example that you went with, those washing windows. That's what your brain went to. Your brain. I don't know. I laughed. I don't think you realized why I laughed. I thought that was intentional.
It wasn't. That
wasn't intentional.
That was not intentional.
I'm like, so you just wash the windows?
Bruh, that's hilarious. That is not. That didn't even cross my mind.
I was like, oh, where was we saying that?
Wow, that's hilarious.
So you want to talk about that? Since we wash the windows?
Listen, all right. So
that's where your brain is at.
Clearly, all right. So if y'all don't know, right, on the podcast 2 weeks ago, right? Is it still recording?
Yes.
On the podcast 2 weeks ago, a person that I used to talk to, right, hit me up, and they was like, "Yo, what's up?" No, they was like, "Can I ask you a question?" I was like, "Yo, what's up?" They called me. The person asked me on the phone. They go, "Hey, do you got any videos of us?" Now, I'm a child of God, right? So I don't even know. I'm like, videos. I'm like, do you mean of us playing like the harp? Do you mean videos of us, doing a baptism? What videos are you talking about? I don't understand.
Balls deep in some pussy.
Lord have mercy, my chest. I don't even know. I feel like I'm a child of God. Okay, so I've been abstinent my whole life. I'm still a virgin, and I feel like I was appalled by what she was alluding to. She was alluding to us having. Do I have videos of us having sex? Oh, Jesus Christ! I don't know what kind of person she thinks I am.
I've seen the videos.
That's not me. So she asked me, do I have videos of us having sex? And I'm like, what? Why would you want to ask that? Now, I'm thinking this is a crazy ass question, right? In my head, girls do this to me because I'm like, oh, they want to get back with me. They want to have sex with me. Something like that. Something of that nature. That's what I'm thinking, right? So I'm like, I'm thinking this is weird. I'm like, this is a new. I've seen girls try multiple things to try and have sex. I've seen them try so many different things that I'm kind of used to everything. This one I was not expecting. I'm like, this is kind of it's real ballsy to try this one. I've never seen this before. Some new tactic, right? But I'm like, all right, give her credit. So we're talking to her on the phone, or whatever. This is last week, 2 weeks ago. So the following week, it's the following week, right?
Well, to add on to what Donovan's saying, I was upset. I was highly upset at the nature of the conversation
She was crying
that Donovan was having with this person, because I'm like, this person feels comfortable talking to you like that. That's crazy. Like,
Facts.
there must be something.
There must be something that I was doing. I had to be doing something. Because if I wasn't doing something, this person would not hit me up. Go on, you so. I'm listening.
You said it with your chest.
I would listen. That was my throat. Go on. I'm listening.
Corona all up on the mic.
A little bit.
So
put some sun on it. It'll go away.
Yes. So I felt uncomfortable with the fact that Donovan was having this conversation. I felt like Donovan didn't speak to me about it until after the conversation was done, and was leaving out bits and pieces of the conversation.
It's not really true, but sure. That doesn't really count.
So there's that. What else? It was one more thing. And yeah, I just didn't understand why he would entertain a conversation like that. That's the main part of it.
Right. Now, my reason was because, now, we talked to myself. We talked to
talked to
Hunter.
myself?
Yes, we talked to myself. We talked to Hunter and one of Melissa's friends, right?
And they all
because I said it's funny. I'm like, yo, she's really trying something. Like, I've never heard nobody try this, but I'm entertained. I want to see how far she gonna take this. I want to see how far this goes because I feel like, yo, this is a reach. I've never heard this before, but she's really going for. She's going for it now. If you've ever had an ex hit you up, right? You would know how these conversations kind of go. Hey, you know, how you been? What's going on? How's your family? You know, you still doing that thing that I don't remember that you told me you do? You still doing that thing? How is that going? You know, they do that whole spiel until they get some pussy or some penis, right? Now, so I thought it was funny. So I'm on the phone entertaining, like, oh yeah, word, yeah, oh my goodness, yeah, facts. I wonder if I should put a clip of what I said in the last video. In this video. I might do that. So I'm like, huh, okay. It's interesting. So I thought it was funny. Hunter thought it was funny. Her friend thought it was funny because she like the girls wilding. So Melissa didn't think it was very funny. No. Why you entertaining her? I can't believe you would do that. Oh my God. Were you thinking about fucking her? I'm like, yes. She's like, oh, you thought about fucking her? I'm like, it crossed my mind when she called me. I'm like, yes. If a girl's calling me or a girl's talking to me about sex, my mind goes to, what if I fucked her? That's what my mind goes to, right? So she asked me. I said yes. I did think about it. It went in my brain. It was there. It was a thought, and it happened. So I said yes. You sound like what they said. I'm not finished yet. Okay. So I'm like, that's crazy. So now, right? Hold on, I went the wrong way. Hold on.
Oh my gosh.
Now, Melissa got a text recently. Now, I know you guys don't know what it said. Because I know you guys, listen, we're all smart here. Everybody here in this room is smart. Us. You guys are probably really smart, right? But I don't think you guys could guess what this person texted Melissa. Do you want to tell them what they texted? You want to tell her? Go ahead. You can tell them. I'll let you go. I'll listen to this. Because I'm about to cry. Because you was entertaining this conversation. Go on. I'm about to cry. Go on.
So.
Okay. Go on. I'm listening.
What happened? I got a
message.
Now
she don't know what happened.
This was like 10 days ago.
Now it's 10. Yesterday was 4 days. Now it's 10 days. I said it was 10 days yesterday. She's like, no, it's only been 3.5 days and 6 hours and 5 minutes. So now it's 10 days.
It was like, 5 weeks ago. Anyways, funny enough, a couple of days ago, a young man who we nicknamed I Wash Windows.
Yes.
Which I thought was funny. Okay, now we on the same page. So, I Wash Windows messaged me on one of them social media platforms. And I responded. I let Donivan know. And I responded. Now, as the conversation progressed between me and I Wash Windows, it came to a point where he asked me. Okay, so he had asked me what I was doing. I said I had just made dinner. He was like, "Ooh, send me a picture of it," right? I'm like, "Damn, I ate it. Like, it was done. It was busting. I ate it, right?" So I had went into my memories. I had a video of it. I sent him the video of the food. So this is in the nighttime, right?
Time out before you finish. I just want everybody that's watching this, guys. The guy asked for a video of the food. If y'all know what that means, just keep that in mind. Cause yeah, we hopefully all the guys are on the same page, but maybe the girls too. But probably the guys.
So, okay, sent him the video of the food, blah blah blah, right? So he had messaged me one more time that night, and the message.
What time was this?
Was like. He messaged me later after I sent the food.
Like what time? I'm talking about. What time is this?
The conversation? Did I go to work that day? I don't know.
You said later that day or the next day?
That day.
So I was in the house, so it had to be.
So it had to be, okay, so he was in the house, and it means that this conversation probably most likely happened after 10 o'clock.
Okay.
With me and Donivan both awake talking. Anyways. So, yes. Happened after 10 o'clock.
I'm listening.
Okay.
We all listening.
Anyways.
We all listening.
So the last message that he had sent, I didn't open until the next morning, was, do you have any more of those videos that you could send me, right? And in my head, I'm like, videos, right? Because I'm thinking in context of like what happened with Donivan the week before. I'm like, he asked me for videos. I'm like, he must be asking for like more food videos. And I clarified the next morning. I'm like, hey, what kind of videos are you talking about? Right? It's recording? Okay. I asked him what kind of videos he was talking about. He was like, videos of me and you, when you used to pull up and we would do the do the thing.
The fucking. When she would pull up and they would do the fucking. The fucking. Yes. Go on. All of the fucking.
So he had asked me if I had any videos. I said I do not, because I don't have any videos. Mm-hmm. And I just think that it's hilarious. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it, because I'm like, how coincidental is this? That the same thing that I got upset at Donivan for the week prior, I'm in the same situation now. Mm-hmm. So that's. I'm just telling y'all what happened. I did that. Donovan, you may speak.
So, let you guys know how this goes. So, I may speak. First of all, it's my podcast,
and I'm the producer.
I will speak as I shall speak, because that's how I speak. Now, as I was saying, if you must allow me to speak, was that what was it? I'm trying to think. What you said something I want to touch on. It was something that came up.
You made a point of me saying the time of day that we was talking
about.
No.
Was
it the food video?
It was the last thing you said.
He said videos of. Well, you said the fucking.
I don't remember. Okay. So she got these videos. She's talking to this guy, right? So I guess I don't really remember the time stamps and how everything worked exactly. So I'm gonna just freestyle off the top of my head of what I remember and how it went, right? So context to this, right? Because I think I talked to Hunter about this that yesterday or 2 days ago, or whatever, and he said I should probably go to get therapy, right?
You gonna tell him that part?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So, first things first, right? Melissa, this guy that I wash windows is somebody that Melissa has a strong attraction to, right? For multiple reasons, right? He was one of the ones that was emotional with her. He was very good in the bedroom. And in my opinion, it was her first real boyfriend. They didn't actually date. They weren't even, I don't think it was even a remote thing. But in terms of, without titles, I think that was the closest thing emotionally she had to a boyfriend. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that he right now holds the first boyfriend title. And for girls, that's usually a very strong title. For guys that don't know, be very wary of a girl who has a first boyfriend title. That's not you. It means a lot of things. Just be aware of that, right? Just be on the lookout for it, because usually that kind of guy always has a place there that will always be there. But like I said, as a guy coming up, just understand that that's a thing that happens. So especially because here's the thing, it's not even about first boyfriend. It's about favorite boyfriend. It's more so. It's not first. It's about favorite, and because it was her first, it was her favorite because there aren't a lot of them there. Right? You see? Not a lot of like boyfriends. Like 3?
Not on like actual boyfriends.
Right.
He wasn't even one of those.
But I'm saying in terms of felt like a boyfriend. How many did you had that felt like a boyfriend? 4?
I wouldn't say you wouldn't even say that.
Less than 4.
Yeah.
2? 3 of them?
Because I'm like, I that's the first time I ever. That's another thing that made that dynamic different. That was the first time that I was talking to someone that lived very close to me. No, maybe 2. Bush.
Okay, so it was her favorite boyfriend out of 2 people. I'm going with UPS because it was 2 years.
So that's 3.
Right.
I guess.
So out of the 3, he was the best one, in the bed, right? And emotionally, he was there for her emotionally, and they had fun together. I think the only one you had fun with, like a lot of fun with.
Yeah, that didn't end up with me getting
in a bush,
in a bush, or hit with the waffle, or
Jesus,
same person,
yeah.
With the waffle.
Jesus Christ. So right, so he has that he's in that role right there, right? So pretty much, as a guy, I have to be aware of these things. So when he does hit her up, I'm like, okay, there's always gonna be something there because of that. So I'm trying to think. I'll be losing my train of thought. That's not really that good. Probably losing my train of thought.
You were the first guy there.
Yeah. So either way, so he wants a video. This guy. So he wanted videos of him smashing the cheeks of Melissa, right? He wanted those videos. Now I've never asked for this. Now I thought, okay, maybe this guy wants these videos because he heard the podcast and then he was joking. I'm thinking like, oh, he's a funny person. Like maybe he heard the video, hit her up like, yo, you got any video? Thinking it's a joke. That's what I thought, right? I gave him too much credit. I don't think he actually was doing that. I think he actually wanted to see the videos. So Melissa said, I don't have any videos. And she wanted to know which ones that he had of her, right? So he said, oh, I got one. He said, I want to see other ones. I was watching it. And after I was watching, I was like, yo, what he said, I would love to do this. I want to do it again. I want to do it some more. What was it?
Probably something along the lines of that.
Something like that, right? So Melissa's like, what you talking about? What videos you got, right? Oh, this is why I was bringing up the other part about who the guy is, right? So the reason I said the stuff earlier about him being the first boyfriend is because, as I am aware, Melissa has an attraction to this guy. I'm very aware of this, right? Now, in my mind, because I used to run game on girls, an attraction to me means that that person has the ability to bust the cheeks wide open. That's what that means to me, right? So I'm aware of that. Now, I don't know if other people realize that or understand that. It doesn't mean that, oh, I like this person. That means he's going to clap when he asks to. It just means that it's an easier path for him than it would be for somebody else because there's history there. There's emotion there. There are memories there. Things are attached to that. And it was good sex. All of these things together mean it's a possibility they either end up together or busting their cheeks wide open. One of those two things are possible, right? So like I said, so I was telling him, like, I know this, but then what happens is I believe that she was trying to make me believe that wasn't the case, right? Because she felt like if she would say that to me, I would be upset by it. I would be like, oh my God, why would you say that? That's not nice. What do you mean you would have sex with him? That's not cool. My feelings are hurt. I thought she would think that. So she was kind of being weird about it. And that makes me uncomfortable. I'd rather somebody come up straight to me and be like, I would fuck him. I would, right? I'm not. Maybe I want to. I wanted to. I don't know, but I would rather be honest and say it, and we can have that discussion going forward. But if the foundation of the discussion is I would never talk to him again, he's ugly, I don't like him, we gotta stop right there because girls love doing that. Girls love downplaying a guy that they like so to make you feel better. Don't do that. Tell me, yo, this dude is the shit. I'd rather hear that, and then we could talk from there. Either maybe you should be with him, maybe you shouldn't be with him, but we can have that conversation once I understand where your mind is at. So this is my mindset on this conversation or this whole situation and scenario, right? So Melissa says she wants the video she wants to see a video of the guy, right? Now I want to see a video too. I was curious what the video was on said video, right? Do you want me to say the video?
No.
Okay. Is that what you think about this whole time? Is that what your mind was on? You sure?
No.
Okay. So in this video, I'm not gonna say that. So in the video, there were some things happening in the video, right? Now, I watched the video. I was like, it's a pretty good looking video. I was like, okay, it's nice. It was an aesthetically pleasing video, right? So you got the video, and how you feel about the video?
Well, I received the video while I was at work, so I couldn't watch it.
So you could, right. So she said, hey, I can't watch the video right now. I'm going to watch.
Oh, he asked me that. Yeah, he asked me, how did I feel about the video?
Mm-hmm. And she said, I can't watch it right now. So he wanted her to watch the video, right? So after she said, I can't watch it, she got home. He texted her again, like, yo, you watched the video yet? So she finally watched the video. I guess you watched it with me or you watched it before?
You were playing it on the fucking train on the way home.
You sure?
Yes.
I don't think I was doing that.
He was playing it on the train on the way home.
That's probably not true. Either way, it's sunny outside now. So that may or may not be true. We don't have any car facts.
100%.
We don't have any footage to prove that. Show me the evidence.
Anyways.
Okay. So, so this guy came up, and I keep losing my train of thought. I'm wondering why that keeps happening.
You showed me the video.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so.
Oh, he asked me if I watched it.
Yeah, he said, "Did you watch the video?" Right? Because he wanted to know if she watched it because he didn't want. He felt like if she watched the video, she'd want some more of that, right? And I.
What are you about to say?
I'm not gonna say anything. It was just weird to me that he would ask that question because I think that's kind of weird, based on the contents of what I saw. Right. So
maybe he was hoping that I had videos that would fill the gap of like what he had, so that it would make more sense in that context.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I think he's kind of. I don't call him weird for that. I don't know if I'll call him weird for that. It's weird to me. I don't know if he's weird. It's just weird to me, because I'm kind of like past that point in my life where I would be doing that, so it's just kind of odd to me. But I do have some text messages from this. I'm putting them on the screen so you can read them, but I'm gonna read them out right now because I think that this shit was hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
Let's see what we got here. All right, so.
Oh.
So I don't have all of them. I just have some of them. More.
Do you remember what
more
came
of the
before
back
that?
end? Nope, don't matter. Why does it matter? You know what came before this?
I do.
Oh, what came before this?
No, like, do you know where that came from?
I don't.
Because he was asking me. Oh, because basically, like what you were saying, I think the purpose of sending the videos was I think he said we could recreate that or do something like that again, something of that sort, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'm like, okay. I think I asked him why. He was like, because there were new things that I didn't give you the best that I could have, and there's new things that I would have wanted to try with you.
It's the problem I have with guys. No, the problem I have with girls. Y'all be letting dudes say bullshit all the time, and y'all don't ever press them on it or nothing, right? Now, here's why I'm about it with this thought that I just said, right? Because maybe girls don't press the guys because they want to have sex with them, right? That's a possibility. They're trying to let the guy, trying to give him the easiest route to smashing the cheeks as possible. So they don't even question the nonsense, right? Or, that's one half. Or girls are very naive and they just don't say anything. They don't even recognize the bullshit. These are both possibilities, right? Now, in context, the bullshit I'm talking about is the dude said to her, I didn't even give, what was it? The energy that I wanted to give you, I didn't give you because my parents were home, right? Or my family, somebody was in the house, right? Yes?
I think he said his cousins. Yeah, his cousins was there.
Somebody was in the house, so he couldn't give her the energy that he wanted to give her, right? Now, they had the intercourse other places, and the energy was not given in any other places. Now, that's the first thing I hear. The first thing that I hear is, okay, so if you had the sex in a house, I can understand you can't give it all. When you get parents next door, that you don't want to do too much, I get it. But when you out somewhere else and you still doing that, what's your excuse now? This is what girls should ask guys, because this is how you end up with a guy that be bullshitting you, because y'all allow him to say things like this, and y'all just be like, well, I don't know, I didn't even. It's ridiculous, right? It's annoying. I'm like, y'all need to just put some pressure on the guys. The majority of them are gonna fold. If you start asking guys questions, you wild. Oh my, or they start switching it on you. Now they become the submissive one. Yo, you know what? I really liked you. Like you a dope person. We should be better at because they realized in their mind they can't get you, but they don't want to feel like a dickhead. So they decide if I could play it off by being nice, then maybe it'll be okay. Maybe everything will be fine, right? So she's talking to this guy, and I'm like, I read the message. I'm like, what? You're not gonna ask? I'm like, didn't y'all have sex somewhere else? And she's like, yeah. I said, are you gonna ask her about that? She was like, you know what? I didn't even think about that. I'm like, you didn't think about this? You didn't think about the fact that maybe he was lying about this, not giving you the energy?
I mean, that's not what came to mind.
You know why? Because she wanted the penis. That's
Oh
why.
my
That's the
gosh.
reason.
And then when I asked somebody, he said, "Lord, I don't know."
Right. Then she asked him. I said, why don't you ask him why he didn't give it energy anywhere else? LOL. IDK. And this is how y'all end up with guys. Y'all wonder why y'all be having babies with people that don't care, that ain't shit. This is why. Because they give you responses like that. Y'all don't ask them no question. Y'all don't put no pressure on them. And then what happens? And then when y'all do pressure them, when y'all do put the pressure on them and they fold, what y'all do? Y'all keep talking to them. Like Melissa. See, you hear the hee because that's the truth. It's like, you pressure them, they say some bullshit, y'all be like, whatever, that's bullshit.
You're like my
And
mom. Why y'all make fun of my laugh?
No, that's not making fun of it. I'm letting you know that's how you know it's truthful. Because that's the laugh that you go, yeah, damn, I got, yes. That's the, exactly. Because at the end of the day, y'all be letting guys say bullshit to y'all, and y'all be taking it for no reason. Y'all like, and then y'all get mad. Then y'all get mad like, I don't know why he cheated on me 3 times in the same week with my family members. Why? You wonder why? Because you pressed him 6 times, he folded each time, and you kept dating him. That's the reason why. So, Melissa kept talking to this guy, even after he folded under the pressure, right? You know why? Like I said, he has some good penis, according to her.
Oh my
right?
gosh.
So then he goes, LOL, I don't know. Right? Now.
And then he asked me what, because he said, at that point he had said that he didn't give me the energy that he wanted to, and that's how that conversation came up. Mm-hmm. Then after the LOIDK, he said there are some new things that I wanted to try with you, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, okay, what new things are those? Mm-hmm. And what's that? Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, you know, what he said? He said, fuck. I think he might have said, he didn't say I don't know, but he said something that meant I don't know.
Whatever you want to do. Some stupid
like
shit like that.
Yeah. No, I think he asked me, what have I not tried before? That's what he said. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I thought you said you had new things in mind that you wanted to try with me. Like, how you asking me what haven't I tried before? See, and y'all don't be pressuring guys with these. Y'all don't ask them these questions. They be saying the craziest stuff, and y'all just be like, I'm gonna let it rock. So, after you said, what do you mean again? Because he was, bullshitting. He goes, you tried anal or getting your toes sucked while you getting fucked or cream pie and keep going? Maybe y'all didn't hear me. I'm gonna read that back again. You tried. He said, they heard you. They can
you tried anal or getting your toes sucked? They can rewind it. They can rewind it twice. He said, you tried anal or getting your toes sucked while you getting fucked or cream pie and keep going. This is what the guy said to him. Said to her. This is what he said to her, right? Now, mind you, again, this is just my opinion on talking to girls. A real man don't have these combos over text. You pick up the phone and you want her to hear that voice when you ask her that question. Yo, you ever had anal?
He can't, because he dating somebody.
Right? And I don't even think that's possible. That's it too. Oh, because you didn't even... Wow, we forgot about the part when you called him. You didn't even bring that part up. This is what I'm talking about with the bullshit that girls be just letting slide all the time. So he's texting her. This is in the beginning. This is why I think it was before Wednesday that you had this conversation. Because I feel like that part was way before that.
I can see when I call.
Yeah. All right. So the dude is going to ask what he said.
I called him on Thursday. So.
Right. We are talking on Wednesday. Yeah, texting on Wednesday.
Maybe.
Yes.
Okay.
So either way, it's about a week. So he calls. No. I want to make sure I get this right. I want to make sure I say this perfectly clear and concisely for the listeners and the audience to hear. Okay. Now, Melissa was texting this guy, right? And I think it was probably Tuesday. Either way, Melissa was texting this guy, right? And he was being very short in his replies, right?
It was short and long with long.
It was short in his reply. There wasn't a lot of information, and it was a lot of gaps in terms of how long he's taking to reply. It's taking a very long time to respond to her messages, right? Now, for most people, you don't care about this if you don't like the person. It is what it is. But because Melissa likes this guy, she's like, I don't know why he's taking so long to respond. What's he doing, right? So I'm like, put the pressure on him. Call him. Ask him what's up. Ask him why he's not answering the phone. If that's the case, text him. What's going on, right? So she calls him, right? I think she texted him first. You texted him first, I think. And
I didn't text him first.
You called him first. You sure? Mm-hmm. Okay. She called him first, And he answers the phone, right? The man goes, hello? Melissa goes, hello? He goes, who's this? You go,
No, I asked,
oh, yeah.
I asked, is this so and so?
Oh, yeah. She said, is this I Wash Windows? And he goes, yeah, who's this? She says, Melissa. Click. The man been texting her and writing her for the last day and a half, on and off, for, honestly, we try to talk to her for like 2 years now. Now, I don't know how girls don't take that into account either. It's been 2 years. He been doing the same stuff for 2 years. But because Melissa just be, when you, this is first boyfriend energy that she has. This is what happens with a situation like this, right? So I'm like, what was I thinking about? What is that? Oh, that's a thing? Oh, that's a clip bar. So she, what is it? So where was I? So she, so he, click. So now she comes back to me on the phone. I'm like, what happened? She tells me what happened. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I'm like, what kind of weird shit is this? Now I'm on the phone with her, right? And I go, so you gonna, what excuse can he give you that will make you feel like that was okay? Like, what can he say that make you go, oh, that makes sense? So we're coming up with things. Hold on, making sure the audio is in check. So we're coming up with things to figure out, okay, what could he have possibly said, right? What could be the reason? We're thinking maybe his phone died, right? Cause then she texted him afterwards. Her number was blocked. She texted his actual phone. They were writing on a social media platform before this, but then she texted his phone. After the phone call, text never went through. Everything was just straight to not delivered, right? So I'm like, yeah, what can he possibly tell you to make you? Oh, she's like, oh no, I can't believe him. He's bugging out. He's bugging. This is what girls love doing. This. They want to overplay it. Oh, he sold this. He sold that. Oh my god, I can't believe this. Right?
I didn't do that.
Yeah, you did. You did the whole. I can't believe. Like, I'm done with this. He's something. Yes. Whatever word you use, he had the energy. He had the energy of like he's doing ridiculous stuff. Like he's childish. Whatever the energy was, that's the energy he had.
I think I was more dumbfounded because that shit happened so fast. I'm like, all I saw was my name and it was a bloop. I'm just like, well, damn.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So she texted him, no response. Right? Not delivered. So then she writes him on Snapchat and says, I called you, right? Did you tell him? It was me?
I'm like, bro, what happened? Like, why did you hang up?
Mm-hmm.
What he saying? He was like, my fault. I can't talk right now on the phone, but we could just keep talking here. Something like that.
Some more bullshit, right? He said he was painting, right? I don't even know what that means. I don't know. Maybe I guess he don't have headphones to use. Maybe he was painting butt naked. He can't put his phone in his pocket. I don't know what he was possibly doing.
I think it would be easier to paint with your hands free. I think it would be easier to paint while you're on the phone than while.
Yes, than texting. Yes, that's what I would think. Yes, but unless you are either lying, right, or you're lying, then you don't have any other explanation for that, right? So, what happened? So that was that. Oh, you finished. I gotta go to the bathroom again. You can keep telling them story. I've been drinking a lot of water.
Yeah. So there was that, and Donivan keeps saying that I like the dude. It's weird. It's kind of a cognitive dissonance thing for me because I personally don't feel like I should like him. I don't feel like I should like him because of me being in a relationship with Donivan and everything like that. But that's something that I have to like come to realize is that like I'm a person. He's a person. So there's thoughts and things that naturally come to mind when things are said and in different situations. And just because you start dating someone doesn't mean that the perception that you have of another person just goes away. So, yeah, I think I have a cognitive dissonance there. I was just putting that out there. So that's why it's hard when I'll try to have, Donivan will try to have conversations with me and then he'll get annoyed when the tone of the conversation goes to me being dishonest. But I think that's when that dishonestness comes into play because it's like, no, I don't like him, but that's my brain saying you shouldn't like him. And it's just, yeah, just throwing that out there.
That's pretty. truthful and honest. So trying to think what else happened. So that was that. Now where's my phone? I'm gonna read some more of these messages that I have.
Is it behind the pillow?
It's in my pocket. It's in my pocket.
Okay.
Okay, so that's that. We got oh. So what?
I was telling you to move over.
Oh. I think you should just move on this side.
Hip.
Because like I said, a lot of these I didn't get a picture of every message, so there's some of them kind of out of order. Wow, we can call this a segment. We're gonna do this a segment. All right. So this message says, I'm gonna say the text, and she can explain how the message came across to her and what happened and what this means. All right. Here's another message. This is called Melissa's Messages. All right. I wasn't confident, and I didn't kill the vibe. Oh no.
I know where this is from.
Let me try this again. Hold on. Let me read the whole thing first. I wasn't confident, and I didn't want to kill the vibe by asking you to school me. You like a nigga talking in your ear while he fuck you? Melissa. Do you care to explain this text message?
Alright, boom. So what had happened was, this goes into what he was saying. After he was trying all that, I'm gonna show you. Oh, we're gonna try something. I'm gonna do these new things to you. I'm gonna give you that energy I ain't give you before. I did what Donivan suggested, and I applied the pressure. So, because this whole time that I was with I Wash Windows, he only ever gave me head once, right? Just once. I'm sorry to say, I needed to respect myself more. But you know, I'm in a relationship where I don't get subjected to that nonsense anymore. Either way, I only got head once the entire time that I was with him. So I asked him about that, like why did that happen, right? And his response to that was what Donivan just read.
And that message was, I wasn't confident, and I didn't want to kill the vibe by asking you to school me. Can I read the second part?
You should read the second part. Right after he said that, you're going to say this.
You like a nigga talking in your ear while he fuck you? No, you can't explain the second part.
I don't fucking know. I can't explain that shit. I ain't write it.
That's what he asked her, after that message. Okay, next text. So she asked him, then what made you do it that time? And sure.
Yeah, because like I said earlier, there was only one time that ever happened. And if you're trying to tell me that you're not confident and you didn't want me to school you on eating pussy, why would you eat my pussy that day? Like, and it's not even like, first of all, I never asked him. And that's one thing. I never asked for it. So that was unsolicited that day. And the way that it happened, it was spontaneous. Like, you was thinking about it and you did it. So it's kind of like, I don't understand what that means, that you weren't confident. Because I'm like, if I'm not confident at giving head, I'm not just going to be like, hey, and whip your dick out and then try to give you head right now. If I'm not confident at giving head. Like, if that's the truth. Mm-hmm. So.
That's why you apply pressure. Next text message. Oh, after that question, he responded, I wanted to try it. That's what he said. She said that one time, why'd you do it? He said, I wanted to try it. So.
I know what I said after that.
What'd you say after that?
I asked him if he never gave head before.
Mm-hmm.
And the answer to that was no. He did give, but not constantly. I don't even know what that means. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then he texts her. I'm pretty sure there's some text between these, but I don't remember.
There's text between those.
You remember what it was? Okay. So he said, "What you doing? What's your head like now?" Now back to Melissa. I'm gonna have like one of those like those sounds that go like tingle towards you. Now, how would you? What's your response to this? Or do you remember?
What was my response?
No. What is this text? Like, what do you remember about this text?
I think this is after. Oh, I think that text happened after the head conversation pertaining to me, and I think he didn't want to talk about it anymore. So I think he was changing the conversation, and that's when he asked me what you doing, and then he wanted to keep it sexual. So then that's when he said that part.
which is what's your head like now. Okay, so
I remember my response.
okay, what was your response?
I said that my boyfriend now. No, I said that trash. My ex said that it was trash, and my ex is Donivan. Donovan said that my head is trash. I'm just letting y'all know that Donovan said I give bad head and my head is trash.
That's hilarious, bro. This is funny.
What?
I was gonna put this. I'm gonna put the picture of this on the screen.
And what?
I didn't know that was there. I'm gonna just cut that out. So I'm gonna just put like.
That's hilarious.
That part. Yeah.
How is that even? My neck is up here. How's my titty down there?
You have big breast. Okay, so, so she said it's trash, or she said that I said it's trash.
Because you did.
I feel like that's not exactly.
We had
what
a
I meant.
conversation about it to clear up because Donovan speaks a different language than I do. But in Donovan's language, Melissa's head is trash and is bad. Is it true? Or is it not true?
It's
the truth.
Okay. This is what I mean by trash. Okay, if you take LeBron James, right? No, not LeBron James. If you take Rajon Rondo, y'all don't even know who that is. Y'all even know who that is. Okay, better. Okay, if you take a Division I basketball player, right, and you take him and you put him to play basketball in a regular pickup game, he is going to have a lot of points. He is going to do a lot of things on the court. He is going to be very hard to guard. He's going to appear very, very good, right? A high Division I basketball player will look very good with high school players or in a park pickup game. If you take that same player and put him in the All-Star game, he will look like he's trash. That's what I'm saying. So when I say that she was bad at it, I'm saying in reference to what I think amazing head is. So if I was to say somebody like, if I say LeBron is trash in basketball, I'm not saying LeBron is trash compared to high school players and pickup basketball. I'm saying compared to the people in the NBA, he's trash. So for me, this is how I define great head, good head, and then everything else or whatever, right? Great head, amazing head, top level tier head is if you can give a guy head using no hands and make him come no hands, right? That's to me, that's top level. No hands at all. That's amazing, right? Under that, you have you no hands, just giving him head, and then he can come. That's it. I'm like, all right, that's good. Less hands, more non-hand sexual mouth related things, and then you'll come, right? Then you have a little bit of mouth, mostly hand, but the guy still comes. All of these things have a common trend. The guy's coming in the top 3, right? Now, you have under that, you have girls that are good at giving head, where it feels really good, but you don't come, right? That, to me, that's good. It's good head. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. That's good head. In that second tier, where it's like, okay, she's doing a lot of things, it feels really good. You're like, oh wow, she's doing all these amazing things on it, but you're not coming, right? She uses her hands, she's using her mouth, making a lot of sounds, saying a lot of good things. It's a good addition to the sex, right? Then the third level on the bottom is when you're like, I wish this girl would stop giving me head. It hurts. She's terrible. I don't even want to talk to her. She doesn't know what she's doing. It's awful. I don't like this. That's tier level, third level. Melissa is not in that level. That to me is the worst kind of head. I'm saying that compared to the top level of head, she's bad. Compared to the person that can give you head with no hands and make you come with no hands, she's bad compared to them. That's what I was saying. So she took that as I mean that she's terrible at it. That was my thing.
Because he didn't give me no context. He just said you're bad at head.
I assume when I say that, somebody would ask.
You heard how long that explanation was?
You just ask. You go, why do you think that? Or what do you mean by that? That's what you say. You don't just go, okay, I'm bad. You ask questions. So that's that.
Oh, put the pressure on it.
Right. See, exactly. Put the pressure on. What that mean? What you mean? Give me an explanation. That's what you put the pressure on guys. Mm-hmm. So then he said, what's your head like now?
And I told him
and she said it was trash. He said, so what are you going to do to up it? Do you want me to read the response, or do you want to say the response?
So, mind you, I'm going to throw this out there. So y'all don't think that I'm having this conversation and leading this young man on with this conversation. I let him know from the first day that he messaged me that I still live with my ex, and I am planning and hoping on getting back with him. I said that to him. But I guess because the conversation continued, he was like, oh, I could probably still get cheeks. So, to this, okay, read the, what he said one more time.
So what you gonna do to up it?
Oh, yeah. I said that I'm gonna practice on my ex.
That was her response to that. And so then he responds with, oh, so you guys are together or no?
I said no.
And then he asked, do you plan on starting things up soon?
I said that's not up to me to decide.
And that was the last segment of Melissa's text messages. Woo! So I just want to update you guys with, you know, that and how that went last week. Very funny week. He used the word drain. I think it's very funny. I like that word. It's a new term I might start using now.
I don't even know what that fucking means.
What was he using in context too?
I think head.
What was he saying? What did he say? He wants you to drink.
Oh my god! No. Okay. I will mute the mic.
So this is what happened. You were asking him a question, and he said that he was like, he wants you to drain. It was something about head, but it was something about him giving you head, and he brought that term up.
I think he asked. It
was about the energy thing. It was like, why you didn't give me that energy? And then he said something about about you draining him.
The same way that he said what you doing and then inserted that underneath earlier. Inserted the he said what you doing and then what's your head like. That's basically how that came about too. He said something unrelated to that and then put that underneath.
So. Yeah. So that's the end of Melissa's segments of Melissa's text messages. Okay, producer. Do you mind going and produce some more of the episode?
Yes. Do you also want to talk about the messages with your cousin while I'm still here, or do you want?
I'm gonna see I gotta see what else is on the agenda.
Oh my god.
Is it dead? Jesus, the chargers are there. Oh. Jeez, I don't know how long it was dead. I mean, we have.
How is it not plugged in?
Cause I thought it was gonna overheat.
It would do that.
So we have some more video difficulties. Hopefully it didn't. Yeah, it wasn't that long. Yeah, I mean, I think you checked during the time, so I don't think it should be dead, or that should be that long. But as I'm talking now, what about that?
This is good. This doesn't really have problems. All right, we're good.
Okay. So we're getting better at this. We're gonna figure this out. One day we're gonna have a full video with no video. No, it's not. With no difficulties in the video yet. But right now we don't. And maybe I'll crop this whole part out. The remote's over there on the bed.
Oh, is the TV on?
I don't think so. Now it's on. Is it on slow motion? Can you check? Okay.
Did it pop up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm gonna just back real quick.
So you can check off iWatch Windows. And now we only have probably like 3 more things, and that's it. Actually, we did 2. We only have 2 more things. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so you guys have gotten to meet Melissa, and you guys will have some opinions on Melissa, as will some other people. Everybody had different opinions, and one opinion that I heard recently is that I'm gonna read this message to you. The opinion that I heard. Someone said, I watched the podcast, by the way, and I think you're being a little harsh on Melissa. And I said, why do you think that? They said, because of the reason you gave. And she's obviously probably acting, quote, correctly, because she wants to be with you, but she's not being herself. But she shouldn't not be herself. I said, how come you believe she isn't being herself? The person said, because it seems like given the situation, she's trying to appeal to you in a way. And I responded with, In a relationship, when someone does something wrong, they try and make it up. It isn't about appealing to someone or acting, quote, correctly. It's about apologizing with actions and not words. And then she responded with, but she didn't really do anything wrong. She should be able to do the things she wants without being scared. You are gonna be like, oh, that's childish, I'm done. You ultimately chose to date someone younger than yourself. I responded with, a person can leave someone for anything they feel is worth leaving. It's fully in her power to do whatever she wants, as it's fully in my power to break up with her for doing whatever she wants. A relationship does not work if no one is thinking about the other person. And the same way I can choose to date someone younger than me, I can leave her for acting younger than me. So the reason I want to talk about this is because on the last podcast, I also mentioned that I feel that in society, it's kind of ingrained for women to be submissive, and they are pretty much don't have a choice. And it's weird because, like I said, I don't know if that's natural. I don't know if they don't want the choice. I don't know if they kind of look to have a person that takes away the choice. I don't know if it's society. I just know that it's the thing that exists. So I look at it from this perspective, right? You've heard this story multiple times. You've seen this scenario over and over again where a guy cheats on a girl, right? He goes out, cheats, he's getting drunk, hanging out with his friends. He don't care about his life, right? And then the girl who's going to college, she's, has a good head on her shoulders. She has money saved. She's doing things she's supposed to do. She tells the guy, hey, Mark, I will not be with you if you continue to be out here doing drugs and partying and cheating on me and not going to school and getting your degree and whatever other things that she has for her standards. And it's completely acceptable for a guy to change his life around because of that, and nobody says anything. It's perfectly fine. If a guy says, yeah, I'm getting my life together for this woman, then it's, wow, she really is a good person for him, right? Wow, this is great. She really has an impact on him. This is a really good thing. However, when it's the other way around, if a guy is doing great things and the woman is not doing great things, if she decides to do great things, it's not because she made that decision. People feel like it's because the guy is forcing her to do those things. People don't give the women the credit for actually deciding, okay, I want this guy. I'm going to go out and do the things that I know will keep or get this guy. And I feel like that takes the power away from the women because it pretty much says, as a woman, you do not have the power to make that decision to choose the guy that you want. He has to choose you. And like I said, I don't really think that's the case. And I think it's odd. I really don't know why this happens. But I kind of just wanted to put it out there in case somebody maybe sees this and have a perspective on this, or maybe somebody might see this and be like, oh, I never thought about it like that. Because this is not the first time I've heard something like this. Whenever I have standards for a girl or somebody I'm talking to, whatever you want to call it, like I've had situations where my mom will be like, or even multiple people all say, oh my goodness, why do you have these things? Why do you have these rules and these stipulations? And why do you have these standards? Why do you have all these things? You should not do those things. You should not say those things. And I'm like, this is the thing that I want. I have a certain lifestyle that I want to live. And for that lifestyle, I need a particular kind of person to live that lifestyle. And I don't ever force a woman to change. I say, listen, I'm going to leave. If you want to come with me, then you have to be able to keep up. If not, then I'm not going to stay here with you. I'm going to keep going and moving forward. And the woman will decide, okay, you know what? I see where you're going. I want to go there. I'm going to change my habits and my ways to get to that point that you're going to. So I want to also be successful. I want to also be happy. I want to also be, like the body that I'm in. I want these things too. I want to be financially stable. And they go, okay, I see you're on the right path. I trust you. Let's go down this path together. But women aren't given the credit for that. Women are pretty much told that if you decide to change your life for a man, you're wrong. You shouldn't do that. You should only do what you should feel. You should do what you feel like doing, and you should not change at all. For a man, if a man changes for a woman, it's, wow, he really changed his life around. That's really crazy. Like, oh, I'm so happy for him. That's a great thing that he did. That woman is a great influence on him. This is all good. But with girls, it isn't the same. And me and Melissa actually had a conversation about this too. We've been trying to figure out kind of what's the best way to go about this in terms of like people saying that she only is doing things because of me, and it kind of annoys me, but it's kind of true. So I'm always trying to battle with how to respond to that, because I may have exposed her to a different way of thinking, but I can't make her do anything. I can't make her learn how to cook. I can't make her go to the gym. I can't make her study finances. I can't, honestly. The reason that my finances are the way they are is because of Melissa. She was reading a book about investing. She found a game about investing, and that caused me to then go and get my finances in order. But people don't realize that. People think that just because I'm doing well and now her life has improved, it's only because of me. They don't really feel like she has any improvement, or she has done anything, I guess, for me or helped me in any way. But like I said, since it's true that I've exposed her, like, hey, try this. Have you thought about this? Or even through conversation when we'll talk about it, or I'll even ask her a question like, what is your opinion on this? I might ask a question that most people don't ask her. And that's exposing her to a different way of thinking. But you can give somebody a different way of thinking, but you can't make them do anything with those thoughts. All you can do is expose them to it. And I feel like, yeah, it's just kind of annoying to hear that people say that, because I'm like, yeah, I haven't seen what she does yet, so it's kind of just like, well, Donivan's doing well. That's why Melissa. I think that's why Melissa's doing well. Everything that she does is because of him. So, and like I said, it's kind of annoying to hear that. So I just kind of want people to kind of take into account when they, just in general, like, women are not weak. And again, I don't know if women are submissive by nature. They say they are. I don't know if women decide to be weak by nature. I don't really know how that goes. Like, I know society makes them like that, but I don't know if they are actually like that. And again, it's not static, and static means doesn't move. It goes back and forth. So maybe today she's doing something that is submissive, and tomorrow she do something that's not submissive. Like, I'll lay on Melissa's lap in the house. I'll just lay on her and relax, and I'll do things that you can call submissive. And then I'll come in the house and Melissa is on the bed with her legs spread apart on her phone, looking like a guy. So it's like, how do you decide when somebody is being submissive or being masculine? And I just think that, like I said, people kind of approach a lot of situations based off of what they think somebody should be, as opposed to just talking to them and finding out what they are. So yeah. Also, I still think transgenders are real, but I just want to put that out there because I feel like that's important to say. This logic does not apply to transgenders. This logic applies to people who are not transgenders. So just to put that out there. I actually want to have somebody who's transgender on the podcast because I want to talk to them. Like, I actually want to have a conversation with somebody who has transitioned, wants to transition, or is transitioning, or just a transgender person. I don't understand it, and I really want to have that conversation because I really want to understand it from that perspective. And I feel like when I'm able to talk to someone who's in it, then I can get a better understanding of it. So yeah, that was kind of a convo that I've had earlier. Another thing that I thought about too when I got to Texas, or even in general, do people kind of try to, I'm gonna say, do people insult Melissa because they feel intimidated by it, because they feel like they aren't doing certain things, and they feel like the only reason she's doing them is because of me, and because they don't have a me in their life, or if they did have a me in their life, they would be doing it too. And I think that's part of it too. I feel like people may look at Melissa and probably might feel intimidated by what she does or what she's doing, and then they try to figure out why is it that she's doing this. It can't be just because she works hard. It has to be something. It has to be some other thing. It has to be Donivan doing it. It has to be something else that's doing it. So, and I think that it's kind of more of indicative of, it's kind of puts a light on a person actually saying it than it does what they're saying to her. So like I said, this comes a part of people being self-reflective. The more self-reflective you are, ask yourself why you say certain things. And then start off with, why does this bother me? Why do I say that? Why do I feel that? And then go from there. So I really want to touch on that. And recently, like a couple of days ago, I was taking an order for work, and a lady came up to me, and she wants me to be in a ad campaign for coronavirus and people who are frontline workers and essential workers. So it's a possibility that I would be in an ad campaign for this, and it's kind of cool to do. One thing I'm working on right now with this is being as authentic as I can, and what that means, in my opinion, is by being honest. So, for example, we were talking. I was like, "Listen, are you guys going to be trying to paint me in a picture that says, I'm a disgruntled employee working for, a company that has me outside taking orders in the cold and the rain, and I'm struggling and I can die? Like, is that what you're going to do? Because if that's what you're going to do, this probably isn't the best. Like, I'm not the best person for that." And like I said, I'm trying to be as honest as possible without being rude. And I think I'm doing well at it, because they were receptive to what I was saying. We had a Google Hangout meeting this morning. I think that's what it's called. I've never used it before. I don't even know nothing about it. It's just a thing. And I accidentally opened it, and Melissa was on me, and she wasn't wearing no clothes. So that was kind of funny. Because I guess I had no idea how it works. I was just opening up the app, and then it was kind of like, hey, can you check that? Just make sure the audio is still there. I heard this heard something weird. Camera's recording too? Camera's recording? Okay. So yeah, and I kind of, like I said, I'm approaching it from perspective, because I don't really want to call it selling out, because I feel like that's just an overused term for things. It's kind of just being authentic and just saying what you feel, and being okay if somebody says, okay, we're not the person to work with for you. Because I would hate to be like, I pull up for the interview, and during the ad, and they're like, oh, can you talk about how you're struggling through this and how horrible it is for you and all the crazy things you have to deal with, and then I'm trying to pretend to find stuff that's actually wrong. Like, oh man, yesterday, man, it was kind of cold. That was wild. It was so cold. And then the day before that, I saw a dead bird, and I felt so bad because the bird died and nobody could save him, because I'm not going to be doing that. So I think that it's very important in business to be as authentic as you can, because the more you do that, the further you could go. I don't know if the further you can go, but I think the stronger the foundation is to where you're going. Because if I become, or when I become very rich, successful, famous, whatever you want to call it, it'll be on the back of my personality and who I am. I don't have to change who I am to get something. And when you come to me, you know what you're getting. There's not going to be, oh, well, we thought that Donivan was, no, you know who I am. You know what kind of person I am. There's no surprises when it comes to it. And I think that's the kind of business that I want to build. I don't want it to be a surprise. I want somebody to go, like when you have actors and you go, we need somebody for this role. I want Denzel Washington. I want Shia LaBeouf. This is who I want. I know what kind of person they are. That's who I want for this role. That's the kind of person, that's the kind of life I want. That's the kind of business that I want to build. So we had that call this morning. And they did the thing about when I told them about my dad, and everybody was all, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, like I said, I don't know how to respond to it. I just kind of was just like, and I said thank you to it. But again, it's not for me, it's for them. So it's kind of like, all right, just kind of leave it at that. But like I said, I understand that people don't really have a response, and that's their first response to it. I guess it would be rude to just be like, he died? All right, well, yes, I wouldn't say do that either. If somebody tells you their family died, you just ask them like, hey, do you want to talk about it? Is there anything you want to tell me or not? If not, then okay, then leave it alone. So what else? Just acknowledge that it happened and just keep going. What else? What else happened with that? So this week they're gonna follow me around. They're gonna come to my house. They're gonna record. They're going to record, and they are going to follow me around the city. I'll take orders, and we're going to sit down and do an interview, and they're going to ask me questions for me to put into the campaign. So it's kind of cool. Like I said, I want to see how it turns out. And like I said, I feel like when you're honest, I don't have the anxiety of thinking certain things while I'm with them. Like when I'm on the phone call with them or the video call, if I say what I think, I can be more present in what they're saying as opposed to thinking about like, oh, should I say this? I want to say this, but they might be mad at me. Maybe I shouldn't say that. No, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. No, I'm not gonna say it. And I feel like when you keep doing that, it takes it. One, it doesn't allow you to actually ask more questions because you're still stuck on the first question. And two, it doesn't allow you to actually focus on what they're saying because you're still in your mind thinking about, I want to say this thing, but I'm not saying it. And I think that's one thing that causes anxiety is you have to speak what your thoughts are. Like you have to figure out a way how to get them out because if you don't, you're gonna end up being paralyzed by your anxiety. And I think that's one of the worst places to be in. Worst places to be in. So that's it. That's the update. Hopefully, we're gonna shoot this week. I think it's on Thursday. It's really raining. I did not think it was gonna rain today. That's supposed to be on Thursday, possibly. So it's gonna be cool. I've seen some of the stuff they've done before. It's good. So yeah, I'm excited to see how it goes. And this is just coronavirus. My last, couple of things I want to say. Podcast is about to be done. So people got the stimulus checks, and I'm very curious what people are doing with these stimulus checks. Cause I like, are y'all waiting to spend them? Like, have they spent them yet? Like, do y'all just have the money in your account? Have you blown through it already? Are you saving it for now, but you spend it? Like, how are y'all spending these checks? Because I know a lot of people aren't using them because they don't need them. I mean, people my age anyways. I don't think they have to use them. And it's $1,200. That's not a lot of money. You can't really do anything with that. So I'm very curious what they're doing with that. Because I feel like what's going to end up happening is... What's going to end up happening is that the people who are giving out money are going to give stipulations as to how you can receive more money. They have this whole new $2,000 a month thing coming out. And they also, I listened to a video yesterday about how they're going to try and do, they want to add to the new bill, the new stimulus bill, free rent and mortgage for a year. But they have stipulations. So I'm curious, will people get vaccines to keep getting $2,000 a month? If they came to you and said, hey, you want $2,000 a month, that's fine. You can get it every month. You don't have to work honestly, depending on the stipulations, I wonder if it will say, listen, if you're working, you can't get the money. But if you get the money, you have to get the vaccine. You can't have the money without the vaccine. I wonder how many people would say, okay, I'll get the vaccine. I can get paid $2,000 a month. I don't ever have to work. I can just be chilling. People might do that. So I'm very curious to see what they're going to do because I feel like they're definitely going to have a lot of stipulations going forward on how to continue getting this money. And they're going to increase the price, I think, to something. If they keep this whole giving away free money thing, they're going to somehow have to increase the price because people are going to say, this is not working for me. $2,000 a month is not doing nothing for me. Maybe they might give out $4,000 a month, 3 to 4. And at that point, a lot of people are not going to work. A lot of people will stay at home for $4,000 a month and do whatever the government says to do. So it's kind of an interesting time because I feel like right now we're seeing a flip in how society is going to be going forward. I think it's going to be drastically different after this situation because people will always now say, when there's a problem, why not just give away money? Like, why not just give us money? And this is why I have the Bamboo Project because I want people to be self-sufficient. I want to be self-sufficient. So I don't have to say, I need $2,000 a month. I'll get a vaccine for it because I need that money. I want to be able to go, I'm good. I make my own money. I can do whatever I want to do without you having to, press me for that money. So just curious what you guys want to do. What would you do for $1,200 a month or $2,000 a month? So that will wrap it up for the Bamboo Project podcast. I'm glad you guys stayed with us for this whole podcast. This was a very wild podcast. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of up and downs, a lot of emotions, a lot of thoughts, and a lot of different. I think we ran a gambit of of conversations for this podcast. So people who are listening to it, it's on YouTube at the Bamboo Project Podcast. No, it's on YouTube at the Bamboo Project. That's the name of our YouTube channel. People who are watching it, if you are unable to watch it, you don't pay for the subscription for YouTube to be able to listen to it, or you don't want to listen, you don't want to watch the whole video in a row, or back to back. You can find us on Google Podcasts, because now we're on Google Podcasts. Holla at your boy. We're available on Apple Podcasts. It's about to rain again. Look at the clouds. We're available also on Spotify and Stitcher. So Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher. Find us on all these platforms. Bamboo Project out.